Hello, and thank you for partnering with Bridge of Hope to build neighboring relationships with a family facing homelessness in your community. By neighboring, you are providing the vital emotional and tangible supports needed as the family you'll be walking with exits homelessness and achieves long-term stability. This journey can be mutually rewarding with strong connections being formed. But it can also expose you to the more intimate details of a family's life, details that may not always be positive. As a Bridge of Hope neighboring volunteer, you will inevitably have interactions with children, whether it be planned outing focused on the participant's child, a scheduled Bridge of Hope gathering, or another event related to your neighboring role. And you'll need to know about mandated reporting of child abuse and neglect. Although the definition of a mandated reporter varies from state to state, this brief video is designed to help you better understand what it means to be a mandated reporter, so you will feel equipped to respond appropriately in the event you need to make a report. Let's take a look. So what exactly is a mandated reporter? In general, a mandated reporter is someone who is required by law to report suspicions of child abuse or neglect. Mandated reporters could face fines or criminal charges if they fail to report such suspicions. Mandated reporters may include people of different professions, such as social workers, physicians, child care providers, teachers, etc., as well as anyone associated with organizations that care for or represent children. Each state has their own unique definition of who is considered a mandated reporter under the law, but again, Bridge of Hope National designates neighboring volunteers as mandated reporters due to the nature of their role. The definitions listed here are from Pennsylvania and pertain to Bridge of Hope scenarios. For some of you, the thought of being a mandated reporter makes you a bit uneasy. And given the seriousness of the topic, it's understandable that you might feel concerned about your role. The good news is, and this is one of the most important things for you to take away from this segment, you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to know the definition of each type of abuse, and you don't have to prove abuse is occurring in a child's life in order to make a report. Your responsibility as a mandated reporter is to make a report when you have reasonable suspicion that child abuse or neglect is occurring. Again, you don't have to prove it. You simply need to have reasonable suspicion. So this means if you hear or see something that doesn't seem quite right, or you find yourself worried about a child because of something you heard or saw, make a report. Don't wait until you have more information or talk to other people to get their opinions. Call your local child protection agency or hotline as soon as you have suspicion. Let the professionals who are trained to investigate child abuse and neglect decide whether to further investigate the incident. They are there to make the decision. You don't have to. Let's take a look at each type of child abuse. Definitions will vary from state to state, but this will provide an overview to help your understanding. Physical abuse includes any non-accidental physical injury, including kicking, punching, shaking, throwing, or any other physical injury inflicted by the parent or caregiver. Emotional abuse is a pattern of behavior such as constant criticism, threats, withholding of love and support that impairs a child's emotional development or sense of self-worth. Sexual abuse includes any sexual contact with a child, as well as exploitation of a child through prostitution or the production of pornographic material. Neglect is defined as the failure of the parent or caregiver to meet the basic needs of a child, such as physical needs like food, shelter, and supervision, as well as medical, emotional, and educational needs. Abandonment is when the parent's whereabouts are unknown or the child is left alone without reasonable support, is also included under neglect. Circumstances around substance abuse, such as manufacturing, distributing, or giving drugs or alcohol to a child, as well as use that impairs the parent's ability to care for the child, are also reportable. Again, these are just brief summaries of the different types of child abuse to help give you a baseline of what to be aware of. But remember, you don't have to determine what type of abuse or even if it would be considered abuse. All you need to do is make a report if you have reasonable suspicion. If something doesn't feel quite right and you find yourself worried about something a child said or something you witnessed, err on the side of caution and make a report. For additional information on types of child abuse and signs of abuse, visit the Child Welfare Information Gateway website listed on your screen. If a child shares with you that they are being abused, keep the following tips in mind. Listen without judgment, accusation, anger, or disbelief. You want to provide a safe and comfortable place for the child to share, not one where they feel judged or overwhelmed by your response to their information. Don't promise confidentiality by saying that you promise not to tell anyone or that their secret is safe with you. Do not promise nothing will happen if they tell you. Don't probe for unneeded details and don't ask leading questions. A leading question is a question worked in a way that suggests the desired answer or contains information someone is looking to confirm. For example, instead of asking, "Did mom leave you home alone again?" ask, "What happened?" You don't need to conduct a mini investigation. Child Protective Services will handle the investigation if one is needed. Again, your job is to provide a safe space for the child to share about the abuse. In the event you need to make a report, you'll need to find out who is designated to receive child abuse reports in your state or local area. You may have received a handout as a supplement to this training segment with a phone number or website specific to your location. If you didn't, you can ask a staff member from your Bridge of Hope location to provide you with that information. You can also call the Child Help National Child Abuse Hotline at 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit the National Council on Child Abuse and Family Violence website for a state list of reporting numbers. When you make a report, you'll be asked to give whatever information you have pertinent to the situation. Don't let a lack of information keep you from making a report. You may not know all of the details, such as where the abuse occurred or even the identity of the perpetrator. A lack of information is not a reason to avoid reporting. Make the report with whatever information you have. After making a report to your state or area's designated agency or hotline, immediately contact your Bridge of Hope location to inform them of your report as well. It's important for Bridge of Hope staff to be aware of your concerns and the report so they can be a resource to you, the parents, and the children. When you make a report, your state law may allow for your name to remain confidential. However, if you hope to maintain your relationship with the participant, you may decide to share that you made a report and the reasons for your decision, whether the parent is the suspected perpetrator or someone else. Being forthright with the information may help maintain your relationship and the trust of the family. If you feel the family's knowledge of the report would cause further danger or abuse, you may choose to keep your actions confidential. You may wish to talk with Bridge of Hope staff to discuss if and how to tell the parent, and possibly request staff accompany you in telling them. To begin the conversation with the parent, you may say something like, "I know you care about your children and want the best for them. I understand that what I'm about to tell you may feel harsh or not in your best interest. I notified Child Protective Services of my concerns about the incident yesterday between you and Tommy. I am required by law to do so in this situation, and I've done so not only for that reason, but because I care about both you and your children. My intent is not to harm you or your children, but for you to get additional support." Be prepared for the parent to express anger, blame, and sadness. Acknowledge their feelings, listen to their concerns, and do not accuse the parent of wrongdoing. If Child Protective Services decides to investigate, be prepared for the parent's feelings to resurface. Your job will be to maintain a posture of care and concern for the parent and their children in the midst of difficult feelings. We count it a privilege to have the families served by Bridge of Hope under our care, and so we take their safety seriously. As a neighboring volunteer and therefore a mandated reporter, you are a vital part of ensuring their safety. If any child whose parent is being served by Bridge of Hope reveals to you they have been abused, someone else tells you they have been abused, or you witness the abuse, please make a report to Child Protective Services immediately. On behalf of the families in Bridge of Hope, thank you for caring, thank you for serving, and thank you for helping to end homelessness.